Hello and welcome back to another episode of our Decades Legacy Challenge. As you can see, we are here with Siobhan and her husband Dean, and they are just trying to make it here as a little family here in their little home in Mount Komorebi. We have, as we know, recently had their son Mateo, and Siobhan has come to terms with this relationship with Dean and their little one and is trying to make the best of it as a family. She is hoping that Dean is going to go ahead and come around to the fact that they have a son now and that he will want to attempt to bond with their child and that they will be able to have a little bit of a relationship. But unfortunately, as of right now, he is really tense over the fact that he has a new baby. He is not wanting to currently attempt to bond with him, and he is really struggling with the fact that they're having a child. And so he hasn't really been interacting with Mateo very much. So she is really stressed out about the fact that it might be difficult for them to have a happy little family dynamic. So she's just having a little bit of a conversation with Dean, and she's just asking him, like, are you going to try to attempt to bond with Mateo? And he's like, I'll go up and I will tend to him and I'll, you know, give it a shot and I'll give him a feed. But, like, I don't want you to get your hopes up because, honestly, like, I didn't want a child and I'm not, you know, promising you that I'm going to be able to bond with him like you're hoping I'm going to. So he is going to go ahead and just give Mateo a little bit of a feed here, but as you can see, it says here that he doesn't want to attempt to bond with him. So he's not able to attempt to bond with him at this present time. He's just really not in the mood to build any kind of bond with his son at this present moment because of the tension that he has, that he feels when he's around him. So yes, he's willing to help Siobhan with him, and he'll feed him and he'll tend to him like he needs to as a parent should. But anything more than that, in the sense of building a relationship or bonding with him or building any kind of familial connection, he's just not willing to do that at this present time. So it's making it really hard on Siobhan because, as we know, she had come to peace with the pregnancy and she's kind of happy about the fact that she now has a baby, and she's really wanting them to have this family unit, this really close dynamic as a family, and she's really hoping that this is going to build over time, and she's really seeing that that's going to be difficult for Dean, and she's witnessing that, you know, maybe he is a little bit more off-put by this child than even she had realized he was. So another thing that we're experiencing in this family is them moving to Mount Komorebi has brought on some feelings of them all being a little bit sick. So Dean and Siobhan both are kind of dealing with some issues of cold symptoms, and they're not really sure what's going on. They don't know if it's like this new area and it's brought on these symptoms, and maybe they're like allergic to the area or what the problem is, but they both know that they're not feeling well and they are really feeling like they're coming down with something. And Siobhan especially is feeling really uncomfortable by the fact that she's feeling so unwell. And so she is going to be going ahead and trying to book a doctor's appointment for them so that she can get them in to see someone to find out exactly what's wrong with them. And they can see someone in the area to find out, you know, exactly what's going on with them, if they've caught some kind of major sickness or if it is just, you know, some common allergies, or if they've just caught some kind of common cold or something like that. She is a little bit worried that whatever they have could be serious. And plus, you know, she's thinking, is it something that we could give Mateo, or is this just something minor? So she is a little bit concerned about those things. And so due to the fact that she is concerned about those, she does want to go ahead and have them seen by a physician. So we will be having them go off and see a doctor at some point. Right now they're just going ahead and having themselves a little bit of a bite to eat and kind of cleaning up around the house. Mateo is upstairs just getting a little bit of some sleep in. As we know, both of them are still in high school, but it is the summertime, so they are on summer vacation currently, and they're not having to go to school right now. So that's kind of perfect. But as we do know, I do want them still working on their homework and things like that, and making sure that everything is okay as far as keeping up their studies and making sure their homework is done and things like that, so that they don't fall behind when it is time for them to go ahead and get back into school. Because even though they are parents now, they do still need to get an education, and that's not going to cease just because they are parents. They still need to get an education so that they're going to be able to get good jobs, so that they're going to be able to provide for this family and take care of Mateo. So I am just going to have her go ahead and work on her homework here because it doesn't look like she has done it. And we will have her work on that so that she can make sure she gets that completed. It doesn't look like Dean has any homework to do, so we won't be having to worry about that. He does want to, as we know, work on practicing programming, and I think he completed that in the last episode. But another thing that he needs to do for his aspiration is play video games for 5 hours. So we'll be having him play some video games for his aspiration so that he can meet that, hopefully. So we'll be letting him work on a little bit of video games in this episode. And I am just looking for a place to hang up their marriage certificate. And I think I'm probably just going to hang it here above the bed. We will go ahead and hang up their marriage certificate so that they can go ahead and view that, and they'll be able to see that and everything. Also in this episode, we're going to be celebrating little Mateo becoming an infant, because he is going to be becoming an infant, and Gloria Washburn's calling asking if they should be trying for a baby. We're just going to tell them to go right ahead and do that if they want. So they are going to go ahead and try for that baby, which is fantastic. I do believe that Gloria is someone that obviously Dean knows, and it's probably a friend of the family, or maybe even one of his family members. So he has encouraged her to go ahead and try for a baby. So we love that for them. So we are just going to go ahead and check. It does look like today is actually Mateo's birthday. So we will be aging Mateo up to an infant today and seeing what he is going to look like when he becomes an infant, and finding out what his infant trait is and all of that fun stuff. So that will be really exciting to see him age up into an infant. And Siobhan's thinking, I can't believe it's already time for him to, become an infant. And, time really does fly. And, she's really thinking to herself, like, I can't believe that, it just seems like yesterday I was just having him, and now he's already aging up to an infant, and he's going to be cooing and laughing and doing all of these things and building all of these milestones. And, it's kind of making her a little bit sad that Dean isn't getting a little bit closer with Mateo, knowing that, he's already aging up and he is going to be, missing these milestones. So we're just looking currently at her aspiration. I am going to go ahead and change her from an admired icon to something different, since she is no longer really in Oasis Springs and around her little friends. I don't think that she would kind of want to be an admired icon anymore, especially considering now she's a teen mom. I think she would think to herself, I don't necessarily consider myself an admired icon. I don't really think that most people would look at me and think, oh, that's something I aspire to be as a teen mom. So I think that she would want to change that aspiration. So we're just going to make her be goal-oriented, and that means that she's going to want to do things such as completing her homework task and getting good grades in school and things like that. And I think that makes more sense for her as a teen mom, because she would want to get good grades and do her homework and things like that so that she could do well in school, and then obviously graduate with good grades so that once she gets out of school, she can get a good job so that she can provide well for her family. Obviously, Dean is going to be able to help her in providing for the family, but she's going to want to be able to help with that so that they can provide the best life possible for little Mateo here. So as you can see, Dean does come in. He does take care of Mateo. He does feed him and take care of him. He just refuses to bond with him. And still he refuses even now to bond with him. He's just like, I absolutely refuse. Like, I'm just not going to bond with him. I will do what I have to do as a parent. I will feed this child because he needs to be fed, but I am absolutely not going to bond with him because I am just tense when I'm around him, and he is not what I wanted in life. So I'm going to have Siobhan come on in here and change Mateo's diaper, and then we're going to have her go on and age him up to an infant So we're gonna see little Mateo go ahead and age up, and it looks like he has aged up with the Leo trait, which is fantastic. So he is a Leo, and we will hop into Cass with him and take a look at him and give him his makeover and see what traits he gets. So let's go ahead and hop into Cass, and I'll show you what he looks like after his makeover, and we'll go over his traits. So this is little Mateo. He is a wiggly infant, and this is what he looks like. And these are his little outfits. So this is his everyday outfit, and his formal, his sleep, his party, his hot weather, and his cold weather. And let's go ahead and jump back into the game. All right, so we are back into the game here, and we are just going to get her to go ahead and give Mateo a little bit of a feed. It looks like he is feeling a little bit hungry, so I'm just gonna have her go ahead and bottle feed him. I realize that he did just actually get fed by his dad, but he still seems to be a little bit hungry, so we're just going to go ahead and let her give him another feed here. For whatever reason, I guess he didn't get filled up whenever dad fed him, so we're just gonna have Siobhan give him a little bit of a feed here, and then we will go ahead and let the parents head off to the clinic. I do want them, like I said, to go ahead and get themselves checked out by a physician, so I am going to have her go ahead and tend to getting them set up for an appointment, so we'll get her to do that. I'm just gonna have Dean come up here and help kind of clean up a little bit. As you can see, he's feeling really tense right now. The fact that Mateo is now even a little bit older has got him even more tense, because he's like, okay, at first it was just a little baby that cried, and now he's an infant and he's going to be even more demanding. And that has got him extremely tense, realizing that, you know, he's gonna have to put in even more time and more effort into this little child. And that's got him, you know, even more tense, because now he's going to have to, you know, play with him, and he's going to have to do things like tummy time and all of these other things. He's just going to have to spend a whole lot more time with him. I'm looking now to see if he can still try to bond with him, and that option is no longer available for him to attempt to bond with him. So that time frame of him being able to bond with him has passed him by, and he can no longer bond with Mateo. So he is just kind of stuck in this position now where he doesn't want this child, and he's going to be remaining as an unwanted child as far as Dean goes. So as you can see, Siobhan is going ahead and getting them scheduled for a doctor's appointment here, and she's getting herself a little bit of a nap. So we'll just wait for the doctor's office to call and let us know that it's time for our appointment. Dean is just having a little bit of a conversation with Mateo here and trying to get to know him a little bit and spending a little bit of time with him. He isn't necessarily bonded with him, but he knows that they do need attention, infants, and that he has to at least try to be a good father. He's not quite sure yet how he really feels, other than he knows he's tense around him. But he also knows that this is what Siobhan wants, and he's trying to make his wife happy. So he's doing everything he can. All right, so it looks like it is time for our health appointment. I'm just going to go ahead and send them off to their appointment alone. So we'll let them go off to their appointment, and then we'll find out exactly what's wrong with them once they get back. And if they are sick, then we'll have to go to the clinic and get them a little bit, or to the pharmacy, I guess, and get them a little bit of medication. So they're both going to head off to the clinic now, and they're going to go see what is wrong with them, and hopefully they aren't really bad sick. So I'll see you when they return. Okay, so it does look like Dean is back from the clinic now, and it has told us that he has a little bit of a cold. And so as we know with colds, they kind of just have to take their time here and just play out. So we'll just go ahead and let him continue on with his time here, and he can obviously just try to get better with time. Siobhan is still at the doctor, but she has just returned back as well. And she has also been diagnosed with a case of the common cold. We are going to go ahead and send her off to the doctor and just see if we can find her some kind of medication. I know she also has the common cold, but it would seem that her case of the cold is a little bit worse than Dean's. She is really struggling with hers. And so I am going to just go see if there is any type of medication that she could possibly take, because on her panel it did say that she could pick up some medication at the pharmacy. So let's go ahead and head over to the clinic pharmacy here and see if there's any medication we can get her. So we are just going to look and see if there's anything we can get for her. It does look like there's some Connex here for the cold and flu. So I am going to go ahead and just get her a bottle of that and see if she can go ahead and take that medication to see if it can help her with her symptoms. And hopefully it will make her feel better. So we are just going to go ahead and have Siobhan take a pill of this Connex, and hopefully that will make her start feeling a little bit better, because as we know, she is really feeling poorly, and it does seem like that medication has sort of helped her a little bit. She's feeling really tired, so we are going to just go ahead and let her go on home so that she can get herself a little bit of rest, because she is in desperate need of some energy here. So let's go ahead and send her on off to her house. Look how exhausted she is, the poor dear. Oh my goodness. All right, Siobhan, go ahead and get yourself home, and then we will let you get a little bit of sleep. All right, so we have arrived back here at the home, and we're just going to go ahead and let her get herself a little bit of rest here. As you can see, Dean is just watching a little bit of television, and we have poor little Mateo upstairs. He is crying because he is really tired. So I'm going to have Dean come on upstairs and put him in his crib so he can get a little bit of rest. And Dean's thinking to himself, seriously, I have to come up here and deal with this child again. Like, why? Why do I have to constantly deal with this baby? But unfortunately, he has to, because he is his father, and, you know, Mateo has to be taken care of. And he's just desperate for a little bit of sleep, and he just needs someone to put him to bed. So Dean's going to have to come in here and take care of this, because as we know, Siobhan is really sick, and she's needing some rest because she has to, you know, get rest so that she can get to feeling better. So he's going to put Mateo to bed here, and then we're going to have him just clean up a little bit around the house. And then I will probably go ahead and let Dean get himself off to bed as well, because it is starting to get a little bit late here. And so we'll let everyone get themselves a little bit of rest for the evening. So after he cleans up a little bit, we'll go ahead and we'll let Dean turn in for the night as well. And everyone will just get themselves a little bit of shut-eye. So it will be perfect. So Dean's just going to go ahead and get himself into bed, and I will see you guys when they wake. Okay, so it is the next morning, and as you can see, Siobhan is up. She's just grabbing herself a little bit of a bite to eat because she is feeling really hungry this morning. And then she's going to need to go ahead and get herself a bath and go to the washroom. So she is going to go ahead and just take care of a little bit of her needs. And then we'll probably have to get her upstairs so that she can go and take care of Mateo. I'm sure he's probably getting himself a little bit hungry as well. So we'll just have her go ahead and do all of those things. I'm also going to go ahead and get her to take another pill of her Connex just to take care of some of those cold symptoms, to make sure that they're you know, under wraps here. So she's just going to go ahead and take care of all of the things that she needs to take care of for herself this morning, which is perfect. Dean is still upstairs getting himself a little bit of rest, but he is feeling pretty good need-wise. So maybe I'll actually get him up and have him come and feed Mateo, because Mateo is feeling pretty hungry, and so we don't want him to have to wait for too long to get fed. So I'll just have Dean go and feed Mateo. That way Siobhan can take care of some of her things that she needs to take care of. So let's go ahead and let Dean take care of Mateo. Even though Dean gets a little bit tense and frustrated when he has to deal with Mateo, he is his father and he does need to help out. So we will have him just go ahead and tend to the little one here. I mean, look how precious they are together. I really wish that he would bond with him and that he wasn't an unwanted child, but unfortunately, you know, this just is the way things are. And I mean, even though he's unwanted, he is helping. He is trying his best to be a good father, so we do love that for him. I am glad that he is at least helping Siobhan and doing the best that he can to take care of Mateo. So I do love that, you know, he's at least willing to help, and he's not just like, no, I absolutely refuse to go anywhere near this child. So the fact that he's at least, you know, trying to help out is at least a good thing. So as you can see, Siobhan has gone to take herself a bath, but she is so exhausted and sick that she's fallen asleep in the tub. I'm just going to get her up out of the tub here. We're going to let her go to the washroom, and then maybe we'll get her to go back and take another bath now that she's kind of awake. I don't know if maybe this is kind of the side effects of the medication that she's on, but she's definitely just kind of falling asleep everywhere she goes right now. I am going to just have Dean and Mateo kind of spend a little bit of time here together, and maybe he can even do a little bit of tummy time with him. I am just wanting them to kind of bond a little bit, even if he can't really attempt to bond with him. I am just trying to get him to spend as much time with him as he can. So he's like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna sit him down and I'm gonna clean up instead. Okay, that's fine. So we are just going to go ahead and let Siobhan keep on with her bath here, and then she is desperate for some fun. So I think maybe I might go ahead and let her do something that will get her fun up. Maybe we can send her out for a little bit of a jog and see if that kind of helps her get her fun up. I don't necessarily know if it will get her fun up, but we can at least kind of try and see if it will get her fun up a little bit. It's worth a shot, I guess. I'm going to get Dean to go upstairs and play some video games because he does need to do that for his aspiration. So he's just going to play some video games for a little while, and that will help with his fun and obviously his aspiration. So we're going to be killing two birds with one stone, and Siobhan's just going to go out for a little bit of a jog and see if maybe that might get her fun up a little bit. And obviously it will get her kind of familiarized with their new neighborhood and where things are located. And she's kind of just taking in a little bit of the scenery and getting to know where they've moved. And she's like, oh my God, this place is so beautiful. Like, I didn't even realize. And she is loving this new place that they've moved to, and she's feeling really, really confident, and she's really loving her jog right now. And it's not necessarily getting her fun gain up, but she is feeling confident. She's really enjoying the fact that she's out for this run, and it's making her feel really good. So we love that she's at least enjoying herself, even if it's not necessarily getting her fun gain up. She is having a good time, and she's enjoying the scenery, and she's enjoying being outside. And so, you know, at least that's good for her. So I am just going to go ahead and take her inside. Does she like fitness? Sure, she can like fitness. All right, so she is just gonna go ahead and go on inside. We still haven't got her any fun up. She's like, let me go and play on this computer for a little while. I don't know how you're gonna plan to do that, considering that Dean's in here doing that. But you can go ahead and try, I guess. Dean's gonna go and grab himself a little bit to eat here. And then once we have gone ahead and gotten him something to eat, I think Siobhan is probably considering that she wants to maybe take Mateo at some point to go and meet her father. I think that she would like for them to get to know Mateo. Yeah. She had heard that Angel was expecting a baby, and so she would kind of want to go and visit Angel and congratulate Angel on her pregnancy, but she also wants them to meet Mateo. And so we're going to go ahead, we're going to take Mateo and we're going to take Dean, and we're going to all travel, and we're going to go ahead and go over to our dad's place, and we're going to go and see them and let them meet Mateo. So let's go to Tartosa. All right, so we have arrived here at her dad's house. We're just going to go ahead and knock on the door here and gain entry into the home, and then we will be able to visit with everyone, and we will then let them be able to, you know, meet Mateo, and we'll be able to talk to Angel and congratulate her on her pregnancy. So we're just going to go ahead and go on inside the house. As you can see, Angel is very pregnant. She is expecting, as we know. We love that for them. And we're just going to go ahead and chat with our dad here, and we're going to introduce him to Mateo, and we're just going to have a little bit of a conversation. We're going to ask him about his day, and you know, just have a little bit of a conversation about the new place and just see how they're liking it out here in Tartosa, because this is a new area for them. And obviously when they moved here, we moved to Mount Komorebi, and so she would want to know, like, how are you guys enjoying Tartosa? Is it a nice place? And he'll be like, yeah, we're actually really liking it out here. Like, it's very, very different from Oasis Springs, but, you know, we're really enjoying it out here. And she'll be like, well, there's someone I want you to meet. And Charles will be like, really? Who? And she's like, hold on, let me go grab him. And he's like, okay. So she's going to go and she's going to grab Mateo, and she's going to come and she's going to bring him in here, and she's going to say, I want you to meet your grandson. And he's like, oh my gosh, he is so handsome. And she's like, do you think so, Dad? And he's like, absolutely. He is just super precious. Siobhan, I can't believe you had a little boy. And she's like, I know. And he's like, I am just so thrilled for you, and this makes me super happy. I am so glad that I'm a grandpa. And of course, Charles is being really supportive of Siobhan, and he is really happy that they are, you know, this nice little family. And so he's really proud of the fact that, you know, she's gotten herself married and she has a baby. Like, I think Charles could have been the other way, where he would be really disappointed in her and could have given her a really hard time, but instead he's just like, you know, I'm proud of you for doing the right thing, and, you know, I am just really glad that you're happy and, you know, healthy, and that you've had a happy, healthy baby, and I'm just really happy for you, and if there's anything that you need, obviously all you have to do is ask. So he's over there just visiting with little Mateo, giving him a little bit of a bottle feed, which is super precious. And Siobhan is just spending a little bit of time now talking to Angel, and, you know, just telling her all about the pregnancy that she had, and asking about Angel's pregnancy, and just saying, like, you know, how are things going with the pregnancy? Mine was, you know, not too bad, other than the fact that, you know, I was a teen pregnant person, and, you know, that was super embarrassing for me. She's like, but, like, how is your morning sickness? And she's like, oh, it's actually been kind of bad. And she's like, really? And she's like, yeah. And she's like, I'm really sorry to hear that. She's like, well, I hope that you have a really good pregnancy. I hope that you have a really good labor. And she's like, you know, I didn't realize labor was going to be so tough. And Angel's like, oh, really? And she's like, yeah, you know, you hear all these stories about it, but you don't really realize until it comes right down to it. And Angel's like, you know, you're not supposed to tell pregnant women these horror stories. And she's like, honestly, I really wish someone had told me what to expect. And Angel's like, you know what, I guess that's true too. And so they're just having this nice little conversation about all of these things, and, you know, getting to get really close with one another, which is fantastic. I am gonna have her just continue to kind of talk with everyone, and as you can see, everyone's just kind of passing around Mateo here, and he's just being loved on with everyone, which is great. But she is gonna go ahead and take Mateo in here and just introduce him to Angel, because I think that she would want Angel to get to know her grandson as well. Obviously we know that, you know, Annika is the grandmother as well. But Angel is also the grandmother. Like, she's married Charles, and she is the grandmother. So we're going to want Mateo to know Angel, because Angel is going to be in Mateo's life as his grandmother. At some point we will also let Mateo meet Annika. We just have to get around to, obviously, going and seeing Annika at some point. But yeah, he needs to meet Angel and know that that's his grandma. So they're just having a little bit of a conversation here, and then she's going to go and introduce Mateo to Angel and let Angel spend a little bit of time getting to know Mateo as well. Everyone is just sitting in here in the bathroom having a conversation. Like, I love that. And as you can see, Dean is just having an introduction with everyone, trying to get to know everyone, because he's new to the family and he hasn't really met anyone. Like, they were friends in high school, fell in love with one another, and then they kind of got pregnant and just secretly eloped, and he didn't really have time to get to know any of the family members or anything like that. So he's just now kind of getting to know the family, and so he's just getting to know everyone and introducing himself and just saying, like, hi, I'm Dean. I realize we haven't met, but I'm her husband. This is my baby, and, you know, I'm sorry that we're having to meet under these terms, but it's really nice to meet you, and, you know, I've heard so much about all of you. So Angel's just getting to know Mateo here. Dean's just getting to know all of the family members, and as you can see, Siobhan is starting to get really, really tired, and so we probably are going to be wrapping up this visit soon, because Siobhan is going to want to go ahead and get herself home so that she can get herself to bed, because she is still, as we know, sick and under the weather, and is going to want to go home and kind of probably go and get a little bit of rest. So we are going to go ahead and probably wrap up this visit here and head ourselves to the house. Dean is just getting to know Angel here while Angel spends a little bit of time with Mateo. And Mateo is just looking at her like, you are a fascinating woman. And I really love that, you know, you are holding me right now. For whatever reason, infants and toddlers typically love pregnant women, and I don't know really what that is, but they typically do, and it's just something about, I think babies attract babies. So he's really getting on with Angel there. So we love that. So Angel here is just going to go ahead and hand off the baby to Siobhan, and then we will go ahead and we will call it a night, and we'll head ourselves on home so that everyone can go ahead and get themselves home and into bed, because it has been a really long day of visiting with the family and just letting them all get to know Mateo here. And they've also met Dean. And so it's been a really good visit. I think everyone has had a really good time kind of getting to know everyone and kind of catching up with Angel and seeing her and congratulating her on her pregnancy, because as we know, Angel was desperately wanting to have a baby. And so she got that wish, which is so wonderful to see. So we are just going to go ahead and head ourselves on home now, and then I will see you when we get back to the house. And it looks like Rebecca's calling Siobhan, so we'll let them go ahead and have a little bit of a chat here as well. But let's go ahead and head on home, and I'll see you when we get there. Okay, so we have arrived back at the house now. We are just going to go ahead and let Siobhan go and get herself a little bit of rest. She is in desperate need to get herself a little bit of sleep here. So we'll go ahead and let her do that. We are going to go ahead and just lay, I guess, Mateo down here on the floor. But she's going to go ahead and get herself some rest. It looks like Dean is just getting himself a little bit of a bath because he is needing some hygiene. And then once he's done with that, we'll get him to put Mateo upstairs in his crib, and he will then need to get himself some rest as well. And then everyone will go ahead and turn in for the evening. It is, like I said, getting pretty late here. It's actually not really that late, but for whatever reason, they are feeling pretty tired. Probably just because they're both still kind of under the weather. So we will just let him go ahead and take care of himself here. And then, like I said, he'll put Mateo in his crib, and then he'll head himself off to sleep as well. They, though, did have themselves a lovely little visit there, which is fantastic. And I think that Dean thinks to himself, like, that was an excellent visit. I got to meet all of the family. And the only person that he, of course, didn't get to meet was Charles and Annika. But he knows that at some point he will get to meet them as well. Look at him. He's like, here, you take care of the baby. I'm tired of taking care of the baby. I'm going to go and take some rest. And she's like, are you serious? So she's going to lay the baby down and then get herself on the computer because she's desperate for some fun. Really, I think maybe you need like so much, Siobhan. You need like a washroom and some food. And she's like, I need rest. Okay. So we'll let her get a little bit of rest and then a bathroom and then maybe something to eat. And we love that. He's just over here feeling super playful, Mateo is. And so that's fantastic. He's just, you know, playing with his toes and feeling super great. But we are just going to go ahead and let the adults get a little bit of rest here while Mateo is just laying here feeling super playful, playing with some of his toys and looking at the toys. And so that's wonderful. It's kind of making the noise like he's going to do some kind of milestone, but it's not showing me what milestone he's meeting, so I don't really know what's going on with that. So I guess he's not gonna meet any milestones at all, so I don't really know what the deal is. But we will go ahead and just fast forward on through here, and then once we get the adults up, we'll go ahead and let Siobhan take care of some of her other needs because she will desperately need to go to the washroom and get herself something to eat. Then we will continue on here with this story here with them. So they are just going to, like I said, take care of a little bit of their needs. She was literally about to wee herself, and Rachel's calling, wanting her to root for the home team. Okay, well, that's fine. We'll do that. So let's go ahead and get ourselves something to eat here, and then we can maybe do something fun. I don't know. Her fun is like so drained. I don't know what we can do for fun, but we definitely need to do something for fun. Maybe I can go ahead and get her on like the birth control pill, and then they can woohoo for fun. That's a possibility, I suppose, because I do think that she would probably want to be on the pill, especially considering she knows that like Mateo was an unwanted child, and she doesn't necessarily want any more children either at this present moment. Because, I mean, if you think about it, Mateo was an unwanted child for her as well. Yes, she came to terms with that pregnancy, but it took her a long time to do that. So she definitely doesn't want any more children. So she would want to be on the pill. She would not want to have any more children right now. So I think I'm going to go ahead and get her on the birth control pill, and then we can maybe have them woohoo for fun, and that will help get her fun gain up quite a bit. So that's probably what I'm going to go ahead and do here is send her off and let her just get herself some birth control pills, and then I will get them to woohoo and get their fun up. Well, her fun up anyway. His fun is great because he's constantly playing the video games. But he's just going to go ahead and go to the washroom, and then I'm going to have him come and feed Mateo while she is headed off to the store for those birth control pills. And then once she gets those birth control pills, we'll go ahead and get her started on those right away. And that way she can go ahead and, you know, kind of get herself protected in that sense. So that will be fantastic. And he is just going to go ahead and come and take care of little Mateo here after he continues on with his bathroom hygiene here. So he's just going to kind of go and wash his hands and all of that. So we love that. All right, so Siobhan is back home from the wonderful store. She's just going to get a little bit of television watching in. Hopefully that will get her fun up a little bit. But I still am going to probably have them do a little bit of a woohoo and see if that will get her fun up the rest of the way. He is just going to go ahead and wake up Mateo here and then give him a little bit of a feed. That way we can take care of his hunger need. So he's like, come on, Mateo, let Dad go ahead and give you a little bit of a bottle. And Mateo's like, yes, okie dokie. That sounds like a great plan. So he's just going to feed Mateo here while Siobhan watches a little bit of television. And then it looks like it is almost Dean's birthday. That's great news. So we are going to, once he's done feeding Mateo, we will go ahead and let her go ahead and go upstairs, and probably she's wanting to get rest, but I really want them to have a woohoo. So I'm going to have them woohoo instead. Okay, so you guys go and have yourselves a bit of a woohoo. And he's like, do we have to? Yeah, you do, because she needs fun desperately. So they're going to go and they're going to have themselves a little bit of a woohoo here. We're going to get her fun up. And then I think she is really, really tired. So we're probably going to go ahead and let her get a little bit of rest here because she could really use a little bit of rest. It says no protection was used, but she is on the pill. So she should be okay. But we will probably still have her take a pregnancy test just to be safe. And, I mean, I just want, obviously, to be safe. I'm going to have him do a little bit of tummy time with Mateo here. And see if we can just do a little bit of, you know, father-son bonding time, which is fantastic. Obviously, Siobhan is just getting herself a little bit of rest. It looks like she probably went to the bathtub and got a little bit of rest in there. For whatever reason, she likes to sleep in the bathtub. But she is getting herself a little bit of rest. And then I'm going to have her go ahead and take herself a bit of a pregnancy test. And then I'm going to have Dean just come in and do a little bit more video games after he puts Mateo down to sleep. So go ahead and put Mateo in his crib, and then you can come and play some video games. All right, perfect. Good night, Mateo. And then, Siobhan, let's go ahead and get you up out of the bathtub, honey. And let's get you to take a pregnancy test. No, maybe not. She's like, no, I'm going to bed. All right, fine. So we're going to let her just get a little bit of sleep while he plays some video games. And then I will probably get him to go ahead and get a little bit of rest as well. And we will check back with you when they wake. All right, so it is the next morning. Dean is up. He's just grabbing himself a little bit of a bite to eat here. And then we are going to go ahead and we are going to let him just take care of a little bit of his needs here. Siobhan is currently up. She is needing a bath. So right now she's taking care of Mateo, but then I'm going to have her go ahead and go take herself a little bit of a bath. And she's going to also need to get herself something to eat. So we're just going to let everyone take care of their needs here, and that will be wonderful. She's like, I didn't feed the baby. Okay, well, after you take your bath, you can go ahead and feed Mateo. And we will make sure that he gets fed. And then once he gets fed, then you can come in here and you can take yourself a pregnancy test. I just want to make sure that she isn't expecting. I do know that she is on birth control, but I just want to make sure that she isn't expecting, because I do think she would be really, really upset if she ended up pregnant. So she's just going to go ahead and take herself a little bit of a pregnancy test here, and we're going to find out if she is expecting or not. It looks like she is not pregnant, so that's fantastic news. It says Siobhan is not pregnant, maybe next time. Well, that's perfectly fine with us. So she's going to go ahead and go in here and take care of little Mateo after she washes her hands. As you can see, Dean has got himself a little bit of a headache. He's still feeling under the weather. I'm just going to have him do a little bit of cleaning up here in the house, and we will make sure everything gets kind of picked up. He's like, I don't want to. I'm so sick. I understand you're sick, but the house needs to be cleaned up, honey. So we're just going to have him kind of pick up a little bit, and then Siobhan can go take care of Mateo, which is perfect. And it is currently 2009, so we will be wrapping up this episode soon, and we will be continuing on in the next episode, but I did just want to go ahead and we will be checking in with our Haskins family, because we did get a notification that Angel did go ahead and give birth to a little boy. So we are going to go ahead and we're going to just go over to the Haskins family, and we're going to go and see them. So let's go ahead and go see the Haskins family now. So this is the Haskins family. We have given birth to a little boy in this family, and he is right here. His name is Dax. So Angel had given birth to a little boy named Dax. So guys, they now have a son. I, though, am going to go ahead and leave this episode here. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that you are notified when new episodes go live on the channel. And I will see you guys in our next episode of our Decades Legacy Challenge, where we will continue on with Siobhan and Dean in our story and see how they continue on with their lives, and if Dean gets any closer to Mateo and how their story continues to unravel. So until next time, I'm going to go ahead and fly for now. Bye, Ravens.